right, welcome to a new week and a new studio vlog. So I have in front of me my stack of sketchbooks from the last year. So I don't know about you, but I always love a good sketchbook tour.
Before we begin, for those who are new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Abby and I'm here sharing my experiences as a full-time independent artist. And quite honestly, I'm just trying to spread a bit more joy into this really weird world. So welcome to this wonderful and whimsical adventure. Let's jump in.
It's always interesting getting into the artist brain and just that insight of how do different other artists think, how do they proceed through their creative process. It's just, I always find it fascinating. One of the big things that I've noticed though is that there seems to be two different kinds of sketchbooks, and I don't know if these artists only do these specific types or they just choose to show them. But what I see is that there's the sketchbooks that is like extremely well executed. It's been thought out, the composition, everything. Like there's maybe a theme to it. Each page feels like a painting or a complete illustration in itself. And it is a beautiful like masterpiece of a sketchbook, something that you would even like publish because it's just gorgeous, right? And then there's the other type of sketchbook where it's more of, I call it like creative vomit, like creative just pouring onto the page. Just kind of spits up in little spots here and there. It may be less so in other areas, and it's just kind of like that continuous thought of the artist. So those are the two types of sketchbooks that I've seen, through sketchbook tours. Mine tends to fall on that latter side. I tend to have more like creative pouring into my sketchbooks, and it is definitely a journey. I love my sketchbooks. This is kind of scary to share with you because it feels so vulnerable, because these sketchbooks, as you will see, have been through with me through years now, almost years, and you can see this, it's a roadmap to where I'm at now. And as I've developed my artistic style and I've learned it and I felt more confident, and you can see that developing throughout these books as I show you. And so it's really cool to share that with you, but it also feels extremely vulnerable. So I guess here we go. All right, so here is my shelf. Everything on the right here is completed sketchbooks and like journals. Everything on the left is in progress sketchbooks, pads of paper, etc. So I have a lot of goals, and I have quite a few that I've started to set up, but let's go through the ones that I have completed. Let's talk about art for a second. Art for me, drawing for me, has never come easy. I'm a natural creative, and I always fancied myself a colorer, but I'm not a drawer. And drawing has taken a ton of practice, and it still takes a ton of practice, and I'm still not even close to where I want to be, and that is why I draw every single day. So this is my sketchbook from high school, my sophomore year of high school. That right there is a butterfly, and I'm pretty sure I submitted that for a grade. So you can definitely see, I mean, some of the stuff we had to do, like, were assignments, some of them were sketches. Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. In high school, I only took drawing 1 and 2 because I had to, because I wanted to take oil painting class. And so I had to go through all the drawing classes, and then I had to go through a watercolor class too, I believe. So this was all part of it, but I hated drawing, and I mean, I'm not a drawer. It takes a lot of work. But this is just interesting to go through this sketchbook because this is going back into 2018, 2019, where I first started saying, hey, I want to dig in on my art, because when I originally started, well, I guess let me go back. So I painted in high school. I learned to oil paint in high school, and then I continued throughout college, and just, it was more of a hobby. But in 2018, maybe a couple years before that, I really was like, I'm gonna dig in and I'm gonna do better and I'm gonna learn how to oil paint. And I started watching YouTubers like Happy D and Lena Dania, I believe is her name. I'll put everything below. And those were two oil painters that really, just by watching them, I learned so much and my skill set really started to grow. But my drawing still was really lackluster. And so in about 2018, I was like, I'm going to sketch every day. Well, we know how that goes. It's not exactly sketching every single day. It was more like, hey, I'm going to sketch every day for a week. And then I'm going to sketch once or twice a week. And then I'm going to do it every other month. And then, I'll get back into it once a day for a week. And I did that hawing around up until 2022. So guys, like this, it's legit to really make that kind of commitment to sketch every single day. And I did though, and I really have seen a huge difference. So originally I started out with using a lot of tutorials by other artists that have like patrons that send out like monthly books on how to draw certain things. Mitch Lee Wu, I don't know how to say his last name, has been extremely helpful in me really learning how to draw and simplifying everything into shapes. So I, work through my sketchbooks and I really see this difference, and it's super exciting to see that. But definitely here in the beginning of 2021, I was still sketching a lot from the how to draw books, and I was starting to include a little bit more still lifes or a little bit more illustrations from reference photos that I'd find. And then I started creating my own characters about halfway through the year. So that's Arthur, and I actually went through and made like fruit that he eats and his beak and his claws, and really set out like, what is this character like? And I had so much fun creating that, even though he never developed into anything yet. It was really fun to do that, and that's when I really kind of started digging even more into my imagination and trusting it, because it's so scary to trust our own imaginations when everybody else has such wonderful ideas all the time. To go through and say, hey, I've got something that's worth sharing is really hard. At least for me, it's been very hard. So it's been really fun to go through and explore that. And also my sketchbooks, I use them to explore different styles and to copy art and to try things and to just explore. I don't know how else to say it. It's a big freaking adventure. I mean, when I say this is an adventure, this is an adventure. I'm constantly just trying to discover just like my well. How deep is this creative well in me, and what does it have in it? What's growing in there? But this sketchbook was really fun too, because this is when I did start to kind of play even more with nature and go through and explore more character development, which is always a really fun thing to do. So this book transcends through the end of 2022 and into the beginning of 2023, and really is starting to just get on. And I'm at this point sketching from my head. I am infrequently using reference photos. Sometimes I am, like here, like I was like, I'm going to do a mouse study. I want to learn how to draw mice. But I'm doing much more from my head, more just exploring and idea exploration. And so this was a really fun sketchbook because of that. I've also, in this sketchbook is when I decided I'm going to start trying to do more, like I like drawing houses. I want to do more of like situational, so like around me and observing, I guess observation sketching. That's not something I've ever really done. I'm practiced in. So this sketchbook is when I decided I wanted to start digging into that more. And as always, I'm trying to figure out how to draw people, and I am still struggling with people. I don't know why they're so hard, but they are. And I know I'm going to get there, but it is definitely going to take a shit ton of time. And when the first sketchbook that I showed you was my high school one. So in the beginning of this year of 2023, I decided I wanted to go bigger. I wanted a bigger sketchbook. I wanted more room to move. I wanted more room to just really put stuff down on the paper and not feel restricted. So I went back to this 9 by 12 that was from high school, and I finished out this sketchbook and really started to explore more characters, more expression in characters. Like, how do I create movement? How do I create more feeling and emotion with them? And so this has been a lot of fun to dig through this. And again, still working on those people. And this sketchbook is a lot of fun because this one is a mixed media one. So when I purchased this, I wanted to do just that. I wanted more colored pencil, I wanted more marker, and I wanted to even use it for watercolor and gouache. So it's been a little bit slower going, and I do wish that I filled out these pages a little bit more. And that's something that I do want to do. I love those thematic and like full on painting sketchbooks, and I definitely want to try to do that. It scares me because it feels like a lot of pressure to only use one sketchbook. And what if I'm out and I want to sketch something and I don't have the right sketchbook? Like, my brain is overthinking all of it, and I really just need to simplify it. But until I get there, this has been really fun to do. And as I work through, I'm like, gosh, use more of the page, Abby. It's okay to fill this up, especially because it's mixed media. I had bleed through, so I'm definitely restricted to using half of the sketchbook in a sense because I can't use both sides of the paper, which is a little frustrating. But I do have another one that I just bought of this that I think I'm going to be using for my houses. And so I want to just fill it up with houses, which I think would be a really cool sketchbook in the end, and I hope to be able to share that with you. So I am thinking of trying to do a little bit more of that, but I definitely need to make sure that it's low pressure because sketching to me is a learning process and fun, and I don't want it to become a chore. And so far, it's yet to become a chore, and it's actually become extremely therapeutic for me. And I feel like I can't even get through my day unless I sit down to sketch for the day. And I'm really finding a lot of joy in that. So if you are an artist and you're struggling or you want to get better, what I always say is art is a muscle. It is like a sport. It's like a musical instrument. Practice, practice, practice. You will get better. You will love it. And those frustrating crying times will decrease and it will become more happy, therapeutic times. And I wish you all the joy and all the peace on your adventure. And I hope that you've enjoyed this tour as scary as it has been for me. I'll see you next time.